brings us here today?
I'm going to tell you a little about myself and my life. My name's Ron, or Ronald if you want to call it that, but I prefer Ron or Ronnie. I was born over in Leichhardt in 47. Lived with my mother, father and grandmother and grandpa in Mary Street, Leichhardt, at 62 Mary Street. Born at Leichhardt, same as my sister. Sister's about 12-14 months older than me. I'm not too sure which hospital. It was a private hospital somewhere in Leichhardt. I don't know much about my early childhood. Lived there till I was about 2, I think, 2.5, something like that, 3 maybe. Then we moved over to 70 Monterey Street at Cogra, which is now called Monterey, because it was in between Cogra, Brighton, Sans Souci, so it was they renamed it back in the 60s, I think, late 50s, 60s, and renamed it Monterey. Sounds good, because there was Monterey Street and there was a Monterey post office, so they renamed it after that. Lived there for all my younger life until I was married, but Robert Scard lived opposite me. We used to go to school together, played in the park. I never played Saturday morning cricket or anything like that. Never went anywhere with my parents, which I can't remember going anywhere. I went away with my uncle and auntie, mum's sister and her husband, up to Tootley a couple of times when I was a bit older. But he went to Ramsgate School, used to walk to school every day, walk back home again. That was a kilometre and a half, I suppose, there and back. Had a nice big park down the back, a couple of 4 or 5 doors away. We go down to Scarborough Park. It was a big park. We could kick balls around and play, and there was a lake down the bottom. We used to go fishing and catching eels and trying to shoot water hen with me bow and arrow. That was, I said to Mum once, if I shoot a duck, will you cook it for me? And she said, oh yeah. So I went out the back and I said, oh, here's one I shot earlier. Anyway, she plucked it and it disappeared. It started off a big one and all this down. Once we plucked it, it turned out about that big, about the size of a sparrow. And she cooked it up, and now I know what game tastes like. It's terrible. When someone says it's gamey, just believe them. It's a totally different taste. So we stayed in Monterey there for quite a few years. Went to James Cook High School. Never hardly went anywhere with Mum and Dad. Never went on holidays at all. Can't remember going anywhere. Went to the movies a couple of times, I think, but nothing real. Well, my dad didn't have any money. Mum and Dad was working all the time. No, never had a car, so everywhere we went was by public transport, walking or buses or trains or trams. If you remember, anybody remembers trams, used to get the tram over to Granny's place at Leichhardt, or Dad's parents' place at Summerhill. Get the train over there and walk around to her place. But can't remember going anywhere much. Well, Mum and Dad didn't have a lot of money. Like things were just coming back out of the Depression, and they'd been through it, and they were sort of learnt how to not spend too much money and save. So I think the bug got into me and my sister. We don't sort of spend stuff that we don't really, buy stuff we don't really need. So, and try and conserve what we've got. I left school when I was about 14 when I left school. Got a job in a shoe factory. My uncle was in the shoe game and he was doing pretty good, so I thought, oh well, that might be an alley to go down. I didn't know whether didn't know what to do. Like most kids, they leave school and a lot of them don't know what they want to do in their life. Some people know exactly what they want to do. But I didn't have much of an idea. done that for a while, about 4 or 5 years I think. Then my uncle wanted to retire, and he would ask me if I'd take over the run. He used to sell shoe laces and boot polish and leather and everything to shoe repairers. You know, he used to have a little van, he used to drive around to the shoe repair shops and go there once a week and see what they wanted. They could buy whatever, you know, knives or nails and hat tacks and glue and boot laces and colour change and all that sort of stuff. So done that for a few years and couldn't see any real future in the shoe game, so met a mate that was working for Telstra and got talking to him, and I said, oh, that sounds pretty good. I left my uncle's business and done a 6-month course down at Goulburn for Telstra, learning how to lay pit and pipe and standing telephone poles by hand with winches and pikes, and how to dig a trench, and you know, what the fall on it. Can't just dig a trench any old way. It's got to be done a certain way. Done that for 6 months. Lived down at Goulburn, stayed in the pub, come back to Sydney most nights to see Linda, because I met Linda at a party a few years before, and she seemed like a nice girl. She was very attractive, and I thought, oh, she's nice, I like her. So I got to know her, and we ended up getting married and had 3 beautiful boys.